I don't like to make videos about myself, about my own personal feelings, or what's going on in my head. But there's just been a lot over the years that's bothered me, and I just wanted to take the time to just talk. I don't know if anyone will ever care to listen to this video or care about how I feel. All I'm ever really known for is just, the one guy who made a meme or stuff like that. And whenever someone says that they're a fan of me, I don't know what to say. And when they say that they look at my stuff, but they're wondering when's the big stuff coming, I feel a little hurt. I don't know why, but I just do. But I mainly just want to talk about how I've been over the last several years. I started out doing stuff on a website called Scratch. I still visit it every now and then, but I don't make stuff on there anymore. And through that website, I met people that at the time I considered friends. Some I still talk to, but others I honestly treat as if they're dead. Not all of them, but a select few. I've always had a difficult time talking to people about my own personal feelings. I've only ever talked about my own life in private, and there are some things that I do wish to keep private, because nowadays everyone likes to talk about every aspect of their life, but I'm not like that. I don't want people to know every last detail about me. Growing up, I also had trouble figuring out what it is I wanted to do with my life. I craved attention, and, still do in some way. And I try to not be like that. And whenever someone is talking about their own project, I listen. But whenever I talk about my own projects or my own stuff, everything tends to get sidetracked. Almost immediately. For someone who wants to be a storyteller and work with other people, I'm not exactly good with people. And on top of that, some of the people that I have interacted with, I've had terrible falling outs with. There was drama that I went through in the first group that I was in, and then with a few friends in the Gmod community years ago. Stuff that I don't really want to go into detail about, but nevertheless, I always was the one that everyone went to just to talk about their frustrations when it felt like mine didn't matter. And to this day, I still feel like my frustrations don't matter. I don't always have the answers to my problems, either. And I've always had issues focusing on stuff, focusing on classwork, focusing on what it is people needed from me. Because all that's ever been on my mind is all these stories in my head. And more than anything, I want to get them out. But I feel like it's hard to reach out to people who would want to help with that. Because I've always said that one should never beg for attention or beg for help on something like this, but more than anything, I want to ask for help. I've also tried promoting my Patreon for those who would want to help support me in my work, but I've always had trouble with that too. And all the friends that I've had in real life have either left my life completely or have shut me out entirely. I was very abrasive and stressful growing up. I've had time to mellow out ever since I graduated from high school, but there's stuff in my life that still affects me to this day. And it wasn't just stuff that happened at school, it was stuff that happened in my own household. Imagine, not feeling safe in your own home. Imagine a family that isn't your own judging your every move and taking away your own parents' attention for 7 years. Sure, there were times where they were kind and understanding, but most of the time they were the complete opposite. I get that they were in a particular circumstance, but I still felt unsafe. For a long time, I felt hurt, unsafe, and alone. In some ways, I still do feel alone. But there have been those that have helped me through a dark time in my life in more ways than one. Those that have stuck with me for years. Friends that I have known for a long time. It was during that time that I actually wanted to kill myself. I was very suicidal during middle school, and even during my first year of high school. The district that I went to wasn't exactly keen on those with ADHD and autism, and on top of that, did very little to understand my needs or understand my own self. Being pushed a grade above class-wise did nothing but ruin me. It made me feel disjointed. It made me feel overwhelmed. It made me feel helpless. And there was a time in my life where during high school I started to question my sexuality, but I didn't want to really talk about it with a whole lot of people. I didn't want to add on more drama to my life than I already had. The high school I went to was terrible. People were vaping in the bathrooms. People were committing suicide before graduation. People were giving each other drugs. There was a lot of abuse going on in that district. There were only ever a few times that I actually felt safe around those people. But there were friends that I had during those times that helped me through those years. From my middle school years all the way to when I graduated. But even before then, I was struggling as well. Even during elementary school, I was struggling. I wasn't like other kids. I wasn't normal. I didn't know how to really connect with anyone. And all the bullying towards me got so bad that before I even got out of 6th grade, I told myself I'm done. And I just wanted out of there. And so I was homeschooled for about a year or so, but that never went anywhere. And in that time is when I did discover the Scratch website and that I could draw stuff and share stuff online. And that was my first real start back in about 2010 in that area. Was when I first started to express myself and my own ideas online. There's a lot that has happened since then. A lot of people that I've met, a lot of friends that I've made, a lot of people that I have left behind because of what they've done to me as well as others. Through the thick and thin of it, I was always the one in the middle, and whenever the spotlight's on me, I freeze. I get scared. I'm always talking about all these different ideas that I have, all these different stories I want to tell, and yet I'm scared. And some days I don't know what to do with myself. And then, when I tried getting into a relationship with someone, things only got worse. It felt very one-sided, and I felt like a knife was right next to my chest the entire time. There might have been some moments of happiness, but they didn't last. There was nothing but arguments, nothing but crying over the dumbest things, and all of it aggravated me every last second. And the one I tried to be with before that, they turned out to be lying about their age, which fucked with me even more at that point. I'm not going to say who they are, because I don't want to have anyone go targeting anyone. I want to move past all the stuff that's bothered me, but it still bothers me. Only recently have I met someone that I truly love, and he has been so kind and caring and understands where I come from, and I love him with all of my heart, and I don't want things to end up like they did last time. On top of that, I feel like the only real way I've ever been able to connect with other people is through the stuff I do for others, through my voiceover work that I've been working on for a long time. One of my friends told me that I'm one of the best voice actors that they know. In the Halo community, I've been told that my Aku impression is really good. And then they say stuff like, "So when's the real stuff coming?" And it hurts. I have all of these things planned out in my head, but if I were to go on about my own stories, several things would go wrong. Someone would try and steal my ideas and take all the credit. No one would take me seriously as a creative mind, and my self-esteem would basically plummet. The only free way I've ever been able to connect with people is through my work. I feel like it's the only way I'm ever able to put my emotions in, show my true self in my performance, because I have a hard time connecting with most people. I want to be noticed. I want other people to look at my work and hopefully it will make them happy. I want to help other people with my work. I want it to mean something. That's why I've been taking things a step at a time. That's why I've been asking for help on my projects. And yet, some days I feel like I'm not listened to. Like I'm not able to get in a word edgewise on my own work. And things take forever and things never get done. It's why I've said all these projects that I want to make and then I end up never doing them, or I end up reworking them for future use in a different way. I'm not trying to make this video as a way to have people feel sorry for me. I'm only making this video because I want people to understand where I'm coming from. The only way I've ever felt I could connect with other people is through the work that I make, the voices that I do, the stories that I tell, and I want that work to mean something to someone, to anyone. I'm not in it for fame or fortune. I'm in it because I want to tell a story, and I want people to hear those stories. That's why I'm here. I have stories in my head that I want to tell, and now I have the means to start telling them, and that's what I've been doing with my Halo machinima. That's an idea that I've had in my head for a very, very long time, for over a decade even, and now that's coming to fruition. The fact that I even was able to work up the courage to ask a voice actor I grew up listening to be on the project still astounds me to this day. People that I've watched for a long time, and people coming up to me and saying, "Hey, do you want to voice in this project?" Or, "Hey, could you give me some advice on how to do this and that?" I'm not used to it. I don't think I ever will be. But in the end, as long as I make at least one person happy with my work, then I'm doing something right. And to me, that's what matters. Not the subscribers, not that at all. Just having a smile on my face because of a story I made. So if you are interested in supporting my work, I've decided to try and start offering some sort of exclusivity thing for anyone who supports me on Patreon. A Discord channel on my server for previews of my upcoming work if anyone is interested. So if you are, then feel free to support me. If not, then, well, That's okay. I will say this, though. To the people that I've met over the years, to the people I have grown to be friends with, to work with, and spend time with, and to the person I love, all I can say is thank you for everything, for giving me a chance to be myself. That's all I ever wanted to be, and I will continue to be so until the day I die. So thank you.